What's up, everybody? Real quick, I just want to give a shout out because this wouldn't be possible without our Patreon subscribers. Thank you to Tony, Fernando, Max, Andrew, Clement, and Ryan for the support on the podcast. We can't thank you guys enough for doing this. So thank you guys. Now let's get on with the show.
Thank you very much. I'm good. I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. We're recording in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of All in the Delivery, a podcast brought to you by Ups and Browns. Go and check out the website, upsandbrowns.com, where Warriors get their gear. We got episode 26 here for you. Episode 26. Man, oh man. And guys, let me first start it off with introducing our hosts. Give it up. Down south in West Bayard, Virginia, Luke Nomad. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, doing well. Had one of the wildest weeks I've had in a long time, maybe ever. But it finished out, and I'm a lifelong Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. So when this gets released, hopefully they're winning. We're Super Bowl champions. But I got Monday off. Already took the day.
There you go. Good for you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good for you. All right. And over there in Pathetic, Connecticut, Bobby Hoyt. How are you, buddy?
I'm outstanding. Celebrating, flattening the curve, third peak. Everything will get better in 2 to 3 weeks. Just hold on, stay strong, stay positive. We're just going to get there. 2 more years. We got this. Let's go.
That's it. And guys, we also have a very special guest today. And let me tell you something. Our guest is from Mohegan Lake, New York. He's been with the company for 6 years now. He is happily married with 2 kids. And not to mention, he's also an incredible artist and have done artwork for Topps trading cards. He's also a huge Star Wars fan. And he is one of the hosts of the podcast TMI Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. Guys, please welcome to the show, Jeff Chandler. Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good, man. Thank you for joining us.
I will say I'm very, very thankful. I love what you guys are doing here and happy to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Hopefully I can bring something that, hasn't been brought here before, because I've done a deep dive on some of your past episodes. It's like Lifetime Learning Channel. It's crazy.
I'll tell you. Oh, go ahead, Bobby.
It's nuts. Some of these. I will say right now, I need to clarify a few misconceptions, which is I've never fought in the MMA. I did not marry my best friend's ex-fiance. I am not a TikTok influencer. And I've never made a porno with my wife. That you know of.
Yes.
And just one more thing I need to date. Dave, it's pronounced unprecedented.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So there you go.
Yeah,
that's great.
Thank you.
Add that to the dictionary.
Come on.
That's awesome. That's good. That's good.
Oh man!
I'll tell you though, I was telling you when we spoke in the IG chat, Jeff, that I'm a big Star Wars fan as well, and I always feel
I'm very happy to hear that.
Like when you say don't judge a book by its cover. A quick story, a funny one. When I was a senior in high school, my last semester, I had to get a fine arts credit, so I took music theory. And it was kind of more of an entry level. There's mostly younger kids in it, like freshmen and sophomores. But the band they said it best. Like, I feel like I was the guy, football player, yada, yada, whatever, captain of the team, whatever you want to say. But I was like, I was kind of what you would say. I was I hate to say band geek. I just wasn't into band. That's pretty much like when I went to that, like I had so much fun in that class just because there was people in there that was playing. There was 15-year-old kids playing Led Zeppelin on guitar, people playing Journey on piano, and I was just having a blast. But yeah, that's what like it just made me kind of took me back for a minute. But yeah,
Nice. Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. So let's get it started, huh? Jeff, tell us about yourself, man. Take us back to the beginning. Born and raised. Have you always lived in New York?
Yes, I've always lived in New York. Obviously, we all know that New York is a big state, and when you tell people you live in New York, they immediately assume you live in the Empire State Building.
Yep.
I grew up around the Finger Lakes, which is central New York. Very small town. Very small town. I went to kindergarten with the same kids I graduated high school with. My class was the size of 32 people.
In kindergarten or high school?
That was it.
Both.
No, that was kindergarten through high school.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, it was all one building, and we had more cows than people up there. And I just knew I didn't belong. I had friends who married their prom girlfriend and banged out 12 kids and then married her sister. Manhattan to me was always like Emerald City.
Yeah.
So I had to get out. I went to school in Long Island, and my first job, I will say, because Dave just confirmed this, that I am your oldest guest you've ever had on this show. I graduated high school in 1985. Yeah, so let that sink in, dude. Half of you are the age of my daughter. And I know Bobby has kids that are closer in age.
Bobby and I were alive. Dave wasn't around yet. Brad definitely wasn't around.
Wow.
I was just a little seaman just floating around.
So yeah.
Yeah, just floating.
Jesus. Just floating, waiting to come out.
Did you head down to the Emerald City right after? Did you head down to the Emerald City right after high school?
Yes. Oh, dude, as soon as I graduated high school, I had to get out of there. Mm. I mean, I go back now and I enjoy it, but I could never live up there. The mentality is just too ass backwards. So went to school in Long Island, and 88, I didn't even get my degree. I mean, I know that, you guys have talked about the fact that college is not for everybody. I spent 3 years in college. It was at art college, commercial illustration, and I marched right into Manhattan, and my first job was Madison Avenue in 34th Street, right off from the Empire State Building. And I worked in this little mom and pop ad agency, and it was pre-computers. There was no computers then. So it was old school. It was old school art directors. It was, bike messengers waiting to shuttle off your artwork to the publications or the newspapers. And I loved it. I couldn't work in Manhattan now, but at the time I loved it. It was great.
Fast paced like
just
that.
As busy?
Was
Manhattan just as busy as it is now, or is it?
To be honest with you, I probably. But when you get into, I actually lived in Queens and would commute in and take the train, and then get off at a certain stop. And I couldn't even afford like I lived in Queens, but I couldn't afford to take the bus down to Jamaica Station. So I would walk like a mile and a half to take the train, and then get off the train to a certain point in Manhattan and then walk. But I just absolutely loved just being surrounded by Manhattan. It was great. And you would walk. I mean, that was right around the time I saw Michael J. Fox crossing the street one day. I will tell you, I'm walking in front of the New York Library, and there's a clown standing out in front. And Luke may appreciate this because he's a movie guy. There's a clown standing out in front of the library, just standing there with balloons. And you walk by and you're like, who the fuck is this dude? And then later I realized, only in a newspaper article, that it was Bill Murray and they were filming Quick Change.
No way.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
I fucking love
walk
Bill
around
Murray.
the corner and would run into the guy doing Crazy Eddie commercials. Christmas in July, it's crazy, it's insane. He's in a full he's a full Santa Claus costume. And I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. But
awesome.
yeah,
Does that help
was,
with creating, like drawing, and does that city environment help with everything? Like,
maybe to a certain extent, yeah. I found myself hanging out with the guys in the mailroom. And they would literally sit in front of Madison Square Garden with their Colt 45s and little brown baggies and just watch the girls go by. So that was like a whole new world for me. Yeah. Like I said, I grew up in a town where there was more cows than people. So, going to movie premieres, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, waiting in line in Times Square to see Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. That just shit that now it's all cleaned up. Times Square back then was just an absolute cesspool, but but it was the world that you knew what you're getting into. So
I probably visited. It was probably like 1992 or 1993. I was in Times Square. I was in New York City, and I can still remember. I remember just being in absolute fucking awe because where I'm I'd been around, the biggest crowd I'd ever seen was in a stadium in Morgantown, which roughly about 70,000 people. And so but to just see there's 1.7 million people that live in our entire state.
Yeah. Right.
And I remember just seeing the flow of people and just absolutely being fucking stunned. I was 9 years old, just a little young nomad saying, fuck.
I want to bring you to New York.
9 years old. I was already married the first time.
Dude, I'm just saying, I'm 36.
There you go.
I want to bring you to New York when all this is over, and I just want you to run to random people and be like, come here, let me see you. Come here, let me see you.
Man.
And see what they say.
I would probably have the same look on my face at 36 that I had, or if it'd be next year, 37 that I had at 9 years old. Probably the same exact.
Can you just give us that?
You being tased by people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You get tased.
Can you just give us that fuck one more time at Young Nomad, 9 years old?
Fuck.
I totally missed that. Are you serious?
Fuck. Oh my God.
Christ.
Beautiful.
That had me cracking up. Wow. All right.
Shit.
So that was a lot. So the mom and pop shop thing, did that get you started with the whole illustration thing, or was that what exactly was that?
No, because the thing is that we all have a skill set.
Yep.
And growing up as a kid, drawing was all I really knew. I doodled, I scribbled, in my notebook, whatever. And it's funny because, years later, I speak at this Westchester County, Westchester College to these graduates. And I say, to me, it's no different than somebody who knows how to work plumbing or is an electrician. I have a skill set. I'm good at it. And I was able to make money at it. So it's simple as that. I laugh when people, you always get these, I'm sure you get it as a creative guy, as somebody who can sing, you can pick up any instrument, Dave. And people are like, I hate people like you. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler.
Right.
And my answer is, well, I can't balance my checkbook. So I guess we're fucking even. There's a reason I married an accountant.
There you go.
She took one look at my checkbook and she's like, you were never allowed to touch this again.
Were you drawing pictures?
Yes, I would draw like frowny faces. She's like, you're like $300 under. You have no clue where. And I would just draw a frowny face. So, yeah. But no, I've always drawn. That was about the only skill set I really had. So, going to school on Long Island, it was actually an agricultural school, but they did have a commercial and illustration program. Mm-hmm. So fuck it. That's as close as I'm going to get to Manhattan. And so I packed up and went. It was the only school I applied to. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I took my classes. All my friends used to make fun of me, the fact that they be studying for exams and they're like, oh, here's Jeff. He's got to draw a fucking jar of pickles, as his final exam. And again, like I said, it was pre-computer. So everything was, hand drawn or whatnot.
Sure.
Airbrushed.
Yep.
Were any of those friends like helpers? Because it sounds like they made some bad decisions.
They may very well be.
Oh my God. I'll tell you that timing of you saying that, Bobby, to not off track too much, couldn't have been more perfect right there. But your timing when you actually said it definitely was perfect, because that was right when fucking helpers would be listening. If it happened.
Oh, dude. So, okay. So I'm just trying to piece it all together now, your life. So go ahead, Bobby. What?
No, we're testing your moderation, and you're living up to the best
you.
moderator.
Thank you. So
keeping things on track here.
That's it. So
herding cats.
So what happened then after college?
Well, like I said, I just went out and started knocking on doors, and my first job was this little mom and pop ad agency. And I didn't know enough to say that I didn't have the skill set or not. I just, I just went.
It was your first. Yeah. It was your first one. So ad agencies, what, you would draw up ads for?
Yeah, I was a production artist, actually. So it was old school, again, pre-computer. So everything was on a board. You would have multiple overlays.
Mm-hmm.
The art director would come in. He's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's leaning over your shoulder. You got a stat room. We had, I don't want to get too technical, but, we had a Spanish guy who ran the font machine, which was, to make type and whatever, but it was a typesetting, and then we only had like 6 reels of type, different fonts, and he would put this on a wheel and he would type on a little DOS screen, and whatever he typed in would then get printed out. But like, say on the strip of film, if the E had like a little nick in it, you would have to go with a rapidograph and fill in that E on every time that it showed up in the galley sheets. It was silly. It really was ridiculous. But I was so thankful that I caught the tail end of that, because the minute computers came in, I saw guys become obsolete overnight.
Sure.
Old timers who they did this for a living. They just didn't want to bend with the curve. They didn't want to learn anything new. So,
fuck.
Do you see any do you see any similarities with anything like that now?
Oh, absolutely. Because there's a reason that I became a corporate company driver. See, I didn't see. Timestamp. There you go. I just had to throw it in there.
Oh, now you get your chicken sound.
I got my chicken sound. Yeah, because I actually fell victim to that as well, which was when social media kicked in. I was an art director, and we'll get into the fact that I know Dave because I worked with his wife. Mm-hmm. And we worked in the company and social media, and they wanted to get into all these interactive PDFs and all this other stuff. And it was just, I was like those old school guys that I replaced, that I knew what I knew, as far as print and whatever. And to take it to the next level, I just, I got kicked to the wayside, basically. Mm. So it's out there, and it'll happen every couple of years, I'm sure.
Yeah, totally. So what happened after the mom and pop shop?
I actually, well, I married a girl that I met in college. And the one thing I'll tell both of my children, which is never marry the first person you fuck. And that is sound advice for anybody.
Absolutely.
Man, yeah, you're so fucking right about that.
Hell yeah.
Even Canada.
But I didn't know any better. At the time, my friends are like, "Oh yeah, we knew that wasn't going to work," and it's like, "Well, why didn't you tell me? Yeah, you wouldn't have listened to us anyways." So
for anybody listening that may have made it work, you're unicorns. Just know.
hell yeah, right. So this was
somebody's lying.
It never worked.
We're my first. No, you weren't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know I wasn't her first. So, but anyways, I ended up moving up to Bedford in Westchester County. And I worked for another agency there. We worked out of the man's house, and there was like 5 or 6 of us. And that was a pretty solid gig for quite some years. And then of course the marriage fell apart. She ran away to Oklahoma with some guy she met in a bar while I was busting my ass thinking I was doing the right thing by working. But everything happens for a reason. Dave, you mentioned the timestamp and
Through
in
life,
a lifetime, and everything just kind of makes it's there for a reason.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely. So marriage falls apart.
Yep.
What goes
18
on?
months. 18 months, my friend.
Of marriage?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, but it took me years before I finally sent her divorce papers. Meanwhile, she could have been out in Oklahoma banging and producing kids left and right, and I would have been responsible.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So what happened next? So what was like the next step, I guess, in your journey with your artwork and all of that?
I mean, I worked at a couple different places, art director, production designer, and whatnot. But when I met my current wife, and we'll get into that obviously because you love to delve into that crap. I started freelancing and I started working from home, and I made a go of it as a freelance illustrator for 10 plus years.
So you would say that was one of the best things you've done?
I was able to put food on the table, for my kids, for my wife. It was not always consistent.
Sure.
It was actually pretty rough. I mean, at the time, I felt I was doing my best, but, you're constantly, as a freelancer, as a contractor, anybody, whether you're a freelance construction worker or whatever, right. You're always kind of lining up that next gig. Mm-hmm. You're always trying to, get that project going. You don't want too many things on your plate at the same time. Mm-hmm. But
let's be honest,
I made it work.
Yeah. And you've met probably some very awesome people along the way, and the work that you've done with certain companies too.
Right. So, I worked, Reader's Digest, that's old school. I don't even think they exist anymore, but a lot of,
do they not?
Scholastic Books. I did a lot of work for Scholastic Books.
The book fairs, you guys remember those?
The book fairs, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So does Scholastic, are they still around?
Scholastic is still around. Okay. I think that they own Lifetime Learning, which is another company that I did a lot of work for. But I think what Dave is trying to get into, which is the fact that, we're going to piggyback into the fact that I was a huge Star Wars nerd, and I was always working on Star Wars stuff. Dark Horse Marvel had the Star Wars license for years to produce comics, and then Dark Horse had them. I sent numerous submissions for, cover designs or whatever. And one of my pieces ended up getting published in a Star Wars fan magazine. And from there, I got contacted by the head of fan relations that Topps Trading Card Company was looking for artists. And we just submitted your name. And because we gave your name, you were officially licensed. And so less than like 12 hours, I got a contact from Topps. Hey, we want you to work on episode 3. It was Revenge of the Sith, which I know that you brought up.
Oh shit! Go ahead.
It was a trading card series, Revenge of the Sith. They mailed me these cards, and they only paid like $1.50 a card, and they still don't really pay that much. But part of your agreement is that you get 6 or 7 back as what they call artist returns. Dude, I was selling these things for like $500-$600 a pop. So that's where I was making all my money. And from there, Lucasfilm said, "Hey, we got this." We're doing these big Star Wars celebrations, these big events, 3-4 day Star Wars conventions. We want you to be one of our exclusive artists. Come to the show. You'll sit in the room. You're allowed to produce a limited edition print for 250. Sell them exclusively at the show. Anything left over gets destroyed. And that was 2005, and that was huge. That was probably the pinnacle of my nerddom, as far as being able to go to the show, to be hustled into the back room to see George Lucas, to be invited to Steve Sansweet, who was the head of fan relations at the time, to his hotel room with every fucking Star Wars actor. In the last 20 years, I'm standing there and there's fucking Chewbacca and there's Boba Fett and there's Darth Vader and there's Darth Maul and R2D2, and my wife is just like she's grabbing my crotch going, "Oh my God, you must be so hard right now." It was pretty surreal.
That's
Holy
awesome.
shit.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was awesome.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Luke.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
So that was, I think I mentioned that on one of that might have been the episode when Bobby and I trailed off on Star Wars. But the day I got my wisdom.
Yeah, that's what happens when Dave walks away.
Yeah, right. We wonder. But I had gotten my wisdom teeth cut out in the morning.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
So, but I had, like I said, it was a friendly debate. So, Palpatine, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Okay, fair enough.
I fucking loved. I wasn't really a big Darth Vader fan. I love Palpatine. I think he's the greatest villain of all time. Fucking love it. When Anakin, for anybody that's seen it, for those like the few that I know, so when he's fighting Mace Windu, I've always said, I know that he got kicked in the face and was down on his back, but he, in my opinion, this was the debate of, I said he had that planned. He wasn't threatened because he wasn't going to die. Because I don't think as much as I love Mace Windu and Sam Jackson, I just love Sam Jackson. I just don't think he had it in it to kill him. And I've had a good friend of mine, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi's his favorite Star Wars. So he's more of the, call me more of the dark side, I guess. But so that was, we've had that argument. I said he let it so Anakin could make the decision to become Darth Vader.
I absolutely agree with you that.
Okay.
Yeah, Palpatine manipulated everything from day one.
See, that's what I'm saying. I was like, that dude was so powerful with the dark side that I was like, even Yoda couldn't kill him. So
that's true. That's true.
How's Mace Windu going to be able to do it?
Yeah.
That's
so my guess is that you never saw the original trilogy in the theaters.
The original trilogy in the theaters? No.
Right. Yeah. So I will say that, again, we're going to go back to the timestamp. And Dave, if you want to dig deeper, 9-year-old Jeff was dealing with my parents were divorced, and I was being shuffled back and forth between two different families. My stepsister was tasked with taking all of us kids to go see Star Wars. And this fucking movie changed my life. And I know now it's kind of cliched to say that, but I've been saying it since like the day I walked out of the theater. This movie changed my life. It gave me a focus. It gave me something that I absolutely latched onto and could not let go of. And as nerdy as it is probably why I am, and like you said, you look over my shoulder and you see this crap. Half of it is, toys I had since I was fucking 9 years old. And then the other half is shit I found on eBay.
Well, fuck, let's see some, like what do you got to show off here for
Jesus. All right. I'm going to show you this only because this has been, and Luke should appreciate this. This has been a 30-year chase, which is a cast. It's going to be really hard for you to see this, but it is a cast signed by Carrie Fisher, Kenny Baker, Mark Hamill, Peter Mayhew, David Prowse, and Harrison Ford that I have been dragging around for years and years. And I just got Harrison Ford's signature 2 years ago. He finally started doing mail-ins for this company, Cool Water Productions or whatever, and he was charging a fortune. But I just sold my entire comic book collection. I sold 32 long boxes of comics I've been reading since I was, again, 9 years old or whatever, and I reinvested that money. So
wow.
I also have a poster behind me. I don't know if you can see it. That probably has this poster over here. Oh, can I even point it to it? I can't even point to it. Right there. Probably has about 25 signatures on it that I've dragged around to numerous conventions.
Jesus.
So
Peter Mayhew, he just died recently, didn't he?
He just passed away. Yes, absolutely.
So
yeah.
I thought he died.
Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford are basically the only two that are left.
Wow.
God. I hate
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I mean, yeah.
Focus. That's the main word. Like you've called it all other things, but I think focus is the main takeaway. It's like once you left that theater, you were like, boom, that's it.
Yeah, no, dude, I don't know what, like I said, as a 9-year-old kid, floundering, I didn't know who I was, who the fuck was my parents because they split up and my dad's got a whole new family. My mom's got a new husband. And it was magic. It truly was. And I can't, and that's probably also why we'll get into, the podcast that I do with the TMI. I love movies. Movies are just magical to me. I love the absolute, the theater going experience. And in this last year has been absolutely devastating to not be able to go into a theater and sit down and watch a new movie. The streaming service sucks. Yeah. I don't like it at all. I want to be, in my happy place, sitting in my center seat. I want surround sound. I want my bucket of popcorn. Yeah.
You're so right about, I agree with you on movies being magic because I've always said with people, I know Sylvester Stallone is a real person and Rocky Balboa is just a character, but I was like, I couldn't tell you how many times within sport, not just boxing or just any time, when I did those comeback football games when I was 30, 31, Rocky IV training bond. That's all I played. That's all montage? I had.
Hell
That's
yeah.
all I had. And I mean, I'm saying, I know he's a mythical character, but I'm saying Rocky Balboa has lifted me through some shit.
Yeah. Listen,
much of my life.
That's right. I mean, that's what cinema's all about, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
So hey, listen.
Transporting you to places.
So hey, listen. Now that we're on the cinema talk, I want you to test Luke's knowledge right now, Jeff. I don't know if you've heard of this or heard this.
I was going to wait until the end. Because I do have 3.
Oh. He was naming people, and I was just thinking.
I know, dude. This guy's we'll talk about the job itself because when I took this job, I was very concerned because I am dyslexic when it comes to numbers. And I was very concerned about addresses, about HIN numbers, and about fucking, the boxes on the shelf, but when it comes to movies, if you name a movie, I can usually tell you what year it came out. And it's almost like you see the number in your face, right?
There you go.
So listening to Luke, God, and I'm like, dude,
right now, right
it's
there.
crazy. I don't know if it's
right
OCD, but here we go. Are you ready? I got 3 for you.
I'm going to look them up.
What we got?
Harrison Ford.
1942.
Boom. Nailed it. Mark Hamill.
Got it.
1956.
Off.
I was off.
You're
Damn.
off.
He said it.
I had to go fast. I tried to go
You
fast.
are fast. And I know why you do that.
I would, I'm not sure if it's not 56. I thought that's Carrie Fisher is born in 1956.
Carrie Fisher is 56.
Yeah, that's what
Mark Hamill was.
hold on.
Coming
Give
back.
me a second. Mark Hamill was 1958.
Oh,
God dang it. I don't know him.
51.
Mark Hamill is that old?
You're fucking 2. Oh, yeah.
1951. I didn't.
Dude, he was.
realize
I think
it.
he was like 17 or 18 when Star Wars came out.
Well, fuck. See, no.
Meanwhile, Harrison Ford was like 32.
Yeah. Okay. 1951.
Listen,
fuck.
2 out of 3, dude.
I did not realize that.
I give you a thumbs up.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
See, I was going to hold that back till later, but they threw it out.
I was
there.
just waiting for it. I was like, you guys are just buzzing.
Was Carrie Fisher your next one? Was that the one you were going to ask?
Yeah, I only
Okay.
gave you 3. I wasn't going to tax you too much.
I just, when you said I was just assuming. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I only gave you the top 3 there.
Yeah. Hey, like Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's true. There you go.
I fucking love it.
Oh man.
So we could get back a little bit. So that's pretty freaking awesome though, dude. All the work you've done with all the different companies and just that's incredible. Like that's some pretty cool shit. And just the like I said, the people you've met too, and going into the hotel room with all the cast, literally, like
actually,
that's fucking sick.
I'll expound on that a little bit, which was my wife and I got into my wife came with me, and she was unimpressed with anybody. She didn't give a shit. But we get into an elevator, and are you familiar with who Warwick Davis is? Okay, he played an Ewok, but he's also Willow.
Willow, yes.
Okay. So he's
Yeah.
he's a small person, and him and his wife get into the elevator with their baby, and they have I guess it was like the nanny. It was a full-grown man, and the baby was crying, inconsolable. And the baby's crying, and he's like, "I'm so sorry." And meanwhile, I had just dumped my 2 kids off, who were like, 5 and 3, with my mother, and he's apologizing to us, and we're laughing. We're like, "No, don't worry, man. We know, we understand. We've been there." So they get on their floor. The whole family gets off, and we turn to each other, and we realize there were 2 little boys in the back of the elevator that we were completely unaware of. And they're leaned up against the wall, and they were like, "Oh, that was Willow."
No
they
way.
were completely fucking blown away.
That's amazing.
I'll tell you, what a great movie. God.
Dude.
Supposedly there's a reboot on Disney Plus coming.
No.
Yeah. They're apparently. The rumors are that they're making a follow-up TV series.
Is Warwick Davis?
Yes, he will be involved.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And obviously he's been in like every Harry Potter movie. So
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis.
What was the knight's name? The guy with the neck.
Oh, that was Mad Mardigan.
Mad
That's
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
You are great. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I don't think my kid's seen Willow.
Oh, dude, you need to watch Willow.
Need to get.
Yeah.
Have they seen Harry and the Hendersons?
Oh my God, dude, we're actually reviewing that next week on my podcast.
No way.
Harry and the Hendersons. Yeah, that's so funny you mentioned that, because there's no new movies coming out. So we're going to do a whole series of like monster movies. And I said, if we're going to do monster movies, if you're going to force me to watch fucking zombie shit, then we have to do a Bigfoot series.
Dude, that's so awesome.
So,
I swear to God, to this day, if I'm in a bad mood, sometimes I will put Harry and the Hendersons on, because it just always puts me in a good mood. I fucking love that movie. Yeah, right. How could it not?
I'm still out there looking for Bigfoot, but that's another story.
Man,
that's awesome.
If I find him, I'll make sure to come and let him see him.
There you go.
Everybody,
I
come here, let me
can't
see
remember
you.
what some state just legalized Bigfoot hunting.
What?
Yeah. There's a state that just announced that. Yeah,
there's no way.
There's fucking Bigfoot hunting's been illegal this whole time.
Well, he's an endangered species, dude. You can't just like gun him down.
Well, man,
who's gonna believe you if you?
that's true.
That's the only. I hate to say it, but that's the only way you're ever going to prove that a Bigfoot exists.
Yeah,
because all the footage is just like grainy shit. You're like, it's just a guy in a suit. You're going to have to kill one to prove that they exist.
And if it's a monster, how are we gonna? It's like I'd be like, hey, Dave Bobby, let's get our diet boards and bonkers, sing over the heads, make sure we don't. But that thing would fucking rip us apart. Speaking of. I have to say this before I forget, and I will make sure to make it quick. I have to, about bonking in the house, said I had a crazy story.
Oh,
that happened
no.
today. And this is, we said we got to the come here, let me see you. So it clicked. And I'll go ahead and tell it real quick. So everybody that listens, or for the new listeners, I'm a dog lover. I call myself the unofficial dog whisperer of the company. And there's one dog that is just a mean, old, grumpy. I don't know if he's old, but just a mean, big, mean fucking son of a bitch, and scares the shit out of the neighbor kids. And just like it, he's vicious. And I've always put videos up close to him, and people will always reply like, dude, you're crazy. But there's this huge drop. Like I said, huge drop off. So I know he's not going to come to me. So today, the cars are in the driveway. So if the people are home, normally he's inside. He doesn't come out. I'm walking. I've got the music blasting. It's Friday. I'm whistling. I go to the garage where I normally, take the IG videos to scare people. And he's coming. I don't hear him because he's not barking, because he doesn't have his electric collar on.
Oh, shit.
And I turn around, and I see he trots down to where he's at the front of the driveway. He's in between me and the truck. And I've had it. It's been a hell of a week. And I look, and I'm like, well, look who doesn't have their shot collar on. And I was in such a mood, and I didn't there's nothing at that point. I've only been in this situation a few times. I've had to hit a dog with a 2x4. I've done some shit, and that I don't like to do very few times. And I thought this was going to be one of them times, because this dog, they've seen the video, they've seen the Insta stories. He looks like he just wants to tear your head off. So I know somebody's home, and I get the diet. Bobby's seen me do this. I used to tag him in Insta stories where I'd hold a diet board in front of a dog that was being mean, and they never, 1% have charged. And I was fucking for sure this was going to be 1%. I was like, I'm going to have an accident, because I'm going to have to write this up, because this dog's going to get some flesh, but I'm going to beat this dog's fucking ass.
I smell paperwork.
I mean, I had it in my head. I was like, I'm going to beat this dog's fucking ass, because the owners are here. So then the owner comes out, and y'all be nice, yada, yada. And I'm sitting there, and I was like, what's this dog's name? She says, Ripken. I was like, after Cal Ripken, I'm assuming.
Okay,
she said, yes. I was like, all right. You're named after a legend. And I look, and I have treats in my hand, and I'm just Ripken. Come here, and you let me see you. Because she had said, if you get scared, he's going to eat it up. I was like, I'm not scared. I just don't want to have to hit your fucking dog. And I said fucking, because I was just like, I thought this was it. He comes down, and he's just hunch up, and I'm like, I'm about to lose my fucking finger. I give him a treat, and his little nub starts wagging, and I start petting him. And I'm so mad because I don't have my phone on me to record this. And this will never happen again, because when they're not home and he's out, I don't trust that fucking dog. Not one fucking bit. I don't when I've been bit, I would never put that on Instagram, because I'm not going to put a video of me getting mauled. You know what I mean? And it was a breakthrough that I thought was impossible.
No way.
And that was just my come here, let me see you moment to share that literally happened today.
You are the dog whisperer.
Incredible.
Man, it was intense. It was a stare off.
Like your hair stands up on your arms and shivers down your spine.
Yeah,
and you're
because
like,
I thought
comes.
it was it, man. He's a big dog. I was like, he's going to fucking get some. I mean, I had pants on, and I had I had long sleeves, but I was like, he's going to fucking get a piece.
Man, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's always dicey. I got bit once, and that was enough.
Yeah.
I don't even.
You got the family going. No, don't worry. He's not going to hurt you. Yeah, okay.
I've never
turn your back.
Mine haven't been documented, but I'll give you a guess on how many times I've been bit.
7.
Just 9.
9. Oof.
And the 9th time actually happened the day of Katie's episode when we were.
No way.
That was very recent. But it was just quick and graceful. It broke the skin a tad.
And
Nothing to worry about.
And one was a horse.
What, you got bit by a horse?
No.
Doesn't want a chicken one time?
The horse, no, the chicken attacks, but
Chickens are fucking nasty. Chickens deserve to be eaten. I'm sorry. We raised chickens. I lived on a farm for a while, and chickens are disgusting.
Yeah.
They are fucking cannibalistic assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. They
This
just
episode
shit.
brought to you by vegan.com.
There you go. Purdue.
Oh shit.
All right. So, Jeff, just before you mentioned your podcast, you want to talk a little bit about it and everybody that's there, and what do you guys do?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you because you did give us a shout out on your episode. Although you didn't get the name.
Oh
of
my
the
God, I couldn't
podcast right,
remember.
and you couldn't remember.
I couldn't
Jim's
remember
name to
Jim.
save you.
I couldn't remember Jim.
Jim, your wife
was
works with Jim and Mike.
I was having such a hard brain fart. I don't know if Bobby and Luke remember. I was like, I can't remember this guy's name for the life of me.
Yeah,
right
You were like struggling.
I was
there.
struggling hard.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as soon as we got done recording, I was like, oh, it's Jim. It's Jim. I was like, motherfucker.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that
Christ.
was that was the first time you weren't the moderator too. So
That is true.
That
is
be,
true.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
You're gonna have.
You were being bombarded there.
Oh,
So-
good point. Good point. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Remember
I
we.
mean, Go
I
ahead.
was just saying we had to take a break so you get some water. Fucking drown out, man.
But go ahead, Jeff.
So basically, I had the idea for a while because what happened was, again, I worked with Danielle, I worked with Mike, and I worked with Jim, the three other co-hosts. So there was 5 of us all together. I had never met Dave, and I had gotten laid off from that job. But the one thing that I absolutely missed was the camaraderie of hanging out during lunch hour. And we would actually reserve a table in the cafeteria. And we were huge Battlestar Galactica, Walking Dead, and Lost fans. And every episode, we would just sit down and dissect this shit. I mean, and this was it was right on the cusp of like full on internet where, you could get screen grabs and all that shit. But so Dave came to the rescue because we didn't, we had ideas, but we didn't know how to execute it. And basically, Dave set us up. As to this day, if you listen to any one of our episodes, it is Dave's voice that brings you in. You were still the voice of TMI to this day.
Wait, this Dave right here.
This Dave, yeah, absolutely, yeah. He was co-host on the show. Him and Danielle were co-host on the show. She was pregnant at the time.
Yeah, it was,
for probably maybe the first 10, 15 episodes. And then what? You get married, you have a house, you buy a house, and then you have a kid, and all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe I can't do a podcast at the same time.
Bro, do you know how crazy this is right now?
What's that?
Because your timeline is matching up when his son was born, and then I met him to do a Christmas video.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's actually.
Months,
Yeah.
and now
that's
he
true.
has another son, and now you're on the podcast with another.
There you are.
podcast.
It's all cyclical. It's a circle of life. A circle of life.
Dude. Mom.
So I mean, Dave and Danielle departed. It was 3 of us for a while, and then it was 2 of us, and now we're back to 3. We have a co-host who is friends with Jim. She is actually a famous fantasy writer. She's an author. She's out in Chicago, and she's written a fair amount of books. She's did book tour in Japan and Australia and
Did you sign
whatever.
an NDA, or can we? What books did she write?
Yeah, some of the books that she's written were called. Hold on one second. The Girl in Red. So she wrote this whole series of books, which are like different takes on fantasy classics. Like one of them I think is called The Lost Son, which is a take on Peter Pan, but it's told from Hook's point of view, and Peter Pan is the bad guy. The Girl in Red is obviously a Little Red Riding Hood take, but it's a post-apocalyptic, so the wolves take on different, meaning or whatever. She's got another book that just came out called The Ghost Tree. So she's actually very well known. And so the 3 of us, I mean, we just dropped episode 163.
Ooh.
So we've
Nice.
been solid since 2018. The only week that we dropped was when I lost my father-in-law to COVID in April of last year, and we threw up basically an old episode, repurposed it or whatever. But otherwise we just keep putting out new content. But like I'm saying, when you build your podcast around new movies and all of a sudden new movies stop coming out, you can't go to the theater. Jim and I actually jumped the border in April we had to go to Connecticut to go see Tenet and New Mutants because there was no movie theater in New York open. And they're still not.
Connecticut was
see, Bobby,
we
maybe
jumped,
Danbury.
Yeah, we went to Danbury AMC. Yep. But now, like with the streaming and Warner Brothers just dropped their entire 21 lineup on HBO Go. And it's like, all these streaming services are now fighting, buying up shit left and right. It's like, how many fucking streaming services do I have to subscribe to in order to see this movie or to watch this movie,
True.
So,
I know that's they do,
True.
man. I hate that.
It's crazy. Yeah. And like I said, I absolutely miss, and so while all that was going on, the girl out in Chicago, Christina, she was still going to the movies. Everything was still open out there. And then it reversed. And all of a sudden, everything where she is closed. And Jim and I are like, well, we can go see Wonder Woman. She's like, well, I can't see it. So, yeah. So it's been, but, we keep it going. I absolutely loved, it's a hobby to me. You guys are in it now. You're doing this stuff weekly. I enjoy it. I love, sitting down, watching a movie, taking my notes, trying to bring something at least unique and original to it. Whether it's something I've seen 1,000 times or if I've seen for the first time. I just watched, I don't know if you're familiar with Train to Busan. It's a Korean zombie movie. And this is so outside my wheelhouse. Like, I hate these fucking monster movie craps. And it was so well done. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free. It's on Amazon Prime.
You're talking my language. What's it called?
It is unbelievable. It is, and the sequel Peninsula is out there. So, so I'm even getting exposed to stuff that I would normally not watch.
Let me,
what was it
let
called
me ask.
again?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Good. What was that called again?
Just the name of
Train to
the
Busan.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you just because I wanted to make Bobby laugh. If you did, I'm assuming you have. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Oh, hell yeah.
How were you? So season 8, were you upset with the ending? I just want to say this because Bobby's never seen it.
I don't think I was upset as most people. I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the show itself going from beginning. I mean, I was completely invested. But yeah, it was a little lackluster because what happened was they outran what he was writing. So they just were making up their own shit. So where you thought that certain characters were going to go a certain way, it didn't happen. I wouldn't dismiss it. I know a lot, same thing with Lost, which is, the last season of Lost, people are like, oh my God, it was fucking horrible. It was stupid. And I'm like, but it was what it was. I'm not in the power that I can change it.
I never got into Lost, but I heard so many people say that it was like I wouldn't have the desire. Like I've heard the same thing about Dexter. Like I've never watched Dexter because I heard that the ending was so bad, and I just never got invested.
I don't know if that's necessarily enough to just say I'm not going to watch it.
I should form my own opinion.
It's a journey. It's a journey of getting through, and that's a problem with episodic television. Walking Dead. Danielle, we were obsessed with this show for like the first 5, 6, 7 years. Now it's still going. I have no interest in it anymore.
Yeah,
I don't watch it. I don't care about it. Yep. But there's some, now, like right now, WandaVision's on Netflix. It's 9 episodes. That's it. 9 episodes.
I heard it was
The Mandalorian. Good, you guys watching The Mandalorian at all? Dude, fucking.
I just got Disney Plus not too long ago, and I'm getting on it.
Danielle and I just started. We were just finished episode 3 today.
It is. But again, if you had 24 episodes, how many of those are going to be fucking fillers? Yeah. X-Files. X-Files was a fucking phenomenal show, but after like season 7, even the stars were like, we've had enough. So then they bring in other characters, and it kind of loses its luster.
Yeah.
Sometimes things just outlive their shelf date.
My favorite show, probably if I had to say TV show of all time, and it's very close because I loved The Wire, but I didn't watch The Wire live, so I don't like to say that. But I watched Breaking Bad from literally the pilot episode until the very end. And I'd met Ashley, my wife. We were dating, I think, a year or two when it had ended. But I loved it how I thought they ended it, like they 5 seasons. And the ending I thought was fucking amazing.
There you go.
And that's why I've always said, I'm like, man, I part of me wishes, because I know they probably could have drug it out if they wanted to.
Sure, of course.
But they didn't. And I was such a fan. Like, I still wanted that, but I appreciate it so much because I would hate for it.
I've heard it's a great show. I've never gotten into it.
Oh, dude. Yes. That's one I would highly recommend.
Yeah.
I kind of look like Walter White right now.
There you go.
See a fucking shaved head. Damn.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome. So,
for your podcast, you had 163. What's one or two of your favorites that stand out that you're like, oh, that we nailed that one?
I think the Train to Busan, the episode that we just dropped, I was very happy with because it surprised the hell out of me. It's a foreign film. You know, I'm not, you know, this is the one thing with the, you know, this girl coming on, Christina. She's very into foreign film. She's very into a lot of this, you know, film verite. You know, we're nerds. So, you know, I want to talk Star Wars. I want to talk, you know, Terminator. I want to talk some of this other shit that we haven't even got to yet. You know, and now we're watching, you know, The Seventh Samurai, which is a fucking 4-hour foreign film, you know, that I don't watch subtitles. So sometimes it's a little bit of a chore, but Train to Busan absolutely blew me away. I was so impressed. Like we actually, give buckets, you know, as opposed to 4 stars, 5 stars, we give it popcorn buckets, and 5 buckets is like top of the line. And I gave this thing 4.5 bucket. It is infinitely rewatchable. It is very enjoyable. I thought it was, you know, if you're in, you know, part of the argument too, which is, you know, Jim's, my other co-host, is very ingrained in the zombie world. And this is not necessarily, it's the infected. If you watch like 28 Days Later, they're not necessarily zombies, they're infected people. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get down into the nitty gritty and start arguing that, then so be it. But Train to Busan, I thought was great. And we try to pair it up. We try to pair up movies, usually a new movie with an old movie. Sometimes we had a theme. Like the week before, George Clooney just dropped this new movie on Netflix called Midnight Sky.
Yes.
Okay. And so I paired it up with Wall-E, the Pixar cartoon, because it basically is the same theme of, you know, Earth has been decimated and you know, Clooney's trying to stop this spaceship from coming back home to, you know, he doesn't want the astronauts infected. But meanwhile, Wall-E is trying to, you know, get off the planet and get the humans back, kind of a thing. But I latched onto the fact that it's Wall-E versus Clooney, kind of a thing. So if you go to the Instagram page, you know, I tend to have a lot of fun with the graphics with the 2 movie posters and whatnot. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
You mentioned Terminator. Do you have episodes just talking about the Terminator movies?
We do have 5 bucket movies, which we just concentrate on one movie, you know, whether it's Back to the Future, if it's Star Wars, Jaws, trying to Stand By Me. There's a bunch of them, you know, because there's 3 of us on the podcast. So, you know, we each get a shot at trying to pick something, but we have not talked Terminator. We did review the new Terminator movie that came out last year. But we have not talked about the original Terminator. So, I mean, there's a ton of movies that we just
he
have.
He rewatches them all the time. He loves them.
That's awesome, Bobby, because I am a big Terminator fan as well. But the early ones, the newest ones, I haven't watched much of them. But the first 2, even the third one, I was, you know, it wasn't bad. But the first 2 I loved. I've probably seen 1 and 2.
T2 is just like fucking revolutionary.
No, I was just saying he can go from being a bad guy to being in T2 being. I mean, yeah. Terminator 2 is my favorite one. I agree.
I
fucking love it.
You know what's funny, Luke, is I want to mention the fact that, listening to all your near-death stories, I couldn't decide if you were the Terminator or fucking Gumby. Because it just sounds like you just like bounce off the ground and come right back.
It literally
like 12 lives this guy's
from the car totaling story. Right. Honest to God, that was one of the quotes in the police report. Was it looked like something out of a Terminator movie.
Oh fuck!
It laid up for like 20 seconds, and then got up. And was where my dog's at?
Can you please change your Instagram name to Gumby? Nomad to Gumby.
Dude,
That's incredible.
Gumby and Terminator. That is so. I love the ends of the spectrum that falls on.
Oh my God.
Gumby probably suits me better, even though I wish I would be more of the. I was the term. I was like 2006. I was more the Terminator. I'm like Gumby now, just not flexible. I'm like a stale. I'm a Gumby. I'm a Gumby doll. It's been out outside. Gumby. Yeah, I'm not bending any.
Wow.
Yeah, how's that for a fuck?
Wow. Yeah, that's a good
fuck.
So. What's funny is that I think we completely straight up skipped over you and the company.
Yeah, basically. Well,
we were started going.
It takes this long to get me to the company because this is really my second act. And listening to you guys, interview some of these other people, and this guy's fourth generation. Dave, your dad worked at the company. I didn't choose this; it chose me. It was a series of circumstances. Like I said, I was unemployed. I got laid off of my job. I was dealing big time with ageism, which is everybody wanted my years of expertise, but no one wanted to pay for it. I filled out paperwork for this company that I fit the bill. They were looking for an art director in charge of a studio, freelancers, in-house, photography. It was everything that I could do. And I filled out all the paperwork. I was going to have an online interview, and the lady contacts me and she goes, "Well, I'm seeing here that your last job, you were making X amount of dollars. I'm going to tell you right now, this pays $50,000 less." And I'm like, I can't even get out of bed for that. And she's like, "Well, I might be able to get you 5 more. And I'm like, no, I got 2 children. I got 2 grown children that I need to support. And it was just, like I said, people, they wanted all your years of expertise, but no one wanted to pay for it. So I was freelancing. I was bouncing around. I was doing job interviews. And for shits and giggles, I signed up for Preload. And because the one thing I didn't mention was I had worked at when I was in college. Mm-hmm. I was going to school in Long Island, and I worked at the Melville Hub in the twilight, and I would do double shifts. I'd go in at 10 o'clock at night, and I'd come out 8 o'clock in the morning. And I made a chunk of change for a fucking kid in college. So I walked in, and I go to interview with the HR lady. And she's like, well, she looked at my age and she's like, "Well, do you think you can do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did it in college." She goes, "Well, that was a long time ago." And do you know that to this day, I'm the only one in that group that was hired that is still there. But I worked a solid year in Preload, and I was freelancing at the time. So I would come in, during peak, you come in at midnight. I'd work until 9 o'clock. I'd change my clothes. I'd drive to Stamford, Connecticut, and I'd sit behind a computer for 6 hours in this office where these old ladies ran the heat like 110 degrees. Oh. And it didn't matter how many cups of coffee I had, I was fucking falling asleep. I'd come home, I'd sleep for 4 hours. I'd get up and I'd do it again. Damn. And it was a solid year. It was like right at my 1 year anniversary as Preload. And I had a guy come up to me and he goes, "Do you want to drive?" Sure, why not? Put my name on a list. You hear about people waiting years. We had 9 guys retire all at once. So I went.
I think my dad was one of them.
Oh, really? Well, no, he wasn't in our building, though. I'm out of Yorktown.
Oh, Yorktown. You're not talking about.
I'm out of Yorktown. We had like 9 guys retire just in Yorktown.
Oh, I thought you were at Poughkeepsie.
No,
Damn, that's
no, I
crazy.
never went to Poughkeepsie.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Nope. So I went in March and I did my training, my driving training. And in September, they came to me. You think you could start driving next week? Yeah. Okay. You figured I'm going to go on the road and then they'll send me back to preload. And I never went back.
Awesome.
And I will say that there was a fair amount. There was at least 2 or 3 drivers who went out of their way to, work backdoor deals, to take the day off, to let me drive their route so that I could make book.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. I have artist friends who poo-poo the fact that this is where I am now. I can't believe you did that, And I'm like,
say like you sold out or something.
Correct. And I'm like, listen,
corporate
right.
devil.
It's like at the end of the day, I got a fucking family to feed. So I don't really give a shit. I have a pretty strong work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter. I love it. I absolutely love this. This is so, again, from someone that sits in corporate for 30 years, sitting behind a desk and have to sit in meetings after meetings, the freedom that this gives it. And listen, it's its own level of stress. There's different issues or whatever going on. Body wise, I was 45, 46 when I started this. So I lost 45 pounds doing this job. I am weathered. I liked it cold and damp. I never went outside. Now I'm outside every day. Yeah. So it is what it is, but I absolutely enjoy it. And I have my own route, and I love the interaction with the customers, whether it's residential or commercial. I've got ladies in you can see my fucking hair. It's all, I went Doc Brown here, and ladies are, they have like arguments, nice. Do you think that's cool? Do you think that's not? Like, yeah, that gets you through your day. Talking about my hair, then so be it. But until 3 days ago, I was still wearing shorts, so that was another issue.
They're like, take me back to the future, Doc. Come on.
Yes. Marty, we gotta go.
Great Scott.
Yes, right.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
tell me you say that to him. What's in the box? What is he always looking for? What's it called?
Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
Plutonium.
Plutonium.
Yeah.
They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
He said, I'm sure.
You gotta make a video. Where's it?
Said, I'm sure in 1985 you can get plutonium around any street.
Right, exactly.
But here it's a little hard to come across.
That's heavy, Doc.
Damn, man. When 2015 happened, and I was like, somebody put out a meme I saw on Facebook, and it was like, this is the year Back to the Future 2 came out. I literally, I was like, damn, that's depressing.
Well, when you think about the fact that, right, it was 1985 and he goes back to see his parents at 55. So, you back it up now, you're going back to like 2005. Right. It's like, what?
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, no, it'll be later than that, but still. Yeah. That is probably, I say Star Wars is like my number one movie, but Back to the Future is another infinitely rewatchable. Love it to death.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that if it's on TV, probably
if it's on, you got to watch it, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I actually saw, I mentioned this earlier when I was working in Manhattan. I think it was 1989 when the third one came out, and Times Square was still just disgusting. And the theater was showing all 3 of them. And I actually have a pin that says I saw the future back to back to back. And I waited in line to go into this theater, and there had to have been, the place was packed. And I was probably one of the few white people that were actually there. But Tom Wilson, who played Biff, was there, and he, hosted and introduced the movies and whatnot.
No kidding.
He's awesome. One of them guys that, like, no matter what I've ever seen him in, I'm like, oh, there's Biff.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, he's actually got the greatest character in the entire series because he plays like multiple versions of himself. Right? Marty's always Marty. Doc is always Doc.
If you heard, these guys know I like to bet what I would give to get that sports almanac, buddy. Oh, God. I would be just would
you abuse it?
God,
you would abuse it, right? Oh, yeah, you gambling motherfucker.
God.
Yeah.
I would be sitting there.
I heard you've been gambling since you were 7.
God, it's 7. Damn, it's 7 now.
I had to back it up another.
I'm going to, it's eventually it's going to
Yes,
be, but
it
as
dropped
soon
even
as I
lower.
came out of the womb, I came out of the
womb.
womb dealing fucking cards, man.
Dude, it dropped even lower, Bobby. I don't think we went
Yeah,
past 9 yet. Now it's
we
7.
didn't
It's
even
great.
do it, wasn't
Wasn't even us.
Oh, I love it. I fucking love
Awesome. All right.
oh, this
So-
is a good one. Watch this, sir.
So, Jeff, this is the part of the show when I ask you to give us your favorite helper story.
I don't know if they're favorite, but I have a couple. I mean, I've only been doing this for 6 years, and you know what's funny is you mentioned the fact that you were your dad's helper on one episode, and I refuse to take a helper. I hate helpers, to be honest with you. They're
No.
fucking. They're a distraction. They don't help at all. They usually hinder.
Hinders,
and-
that's what they should be.
Yeah, they're hinderers. But I held out and I brought my son in from college, and he was my helper for the first time this year.
Nice.
And it's funny because you said the same thing, which is, you know, every person he told after the fact, they were like, "Oh, I guess you got a newfound appreciation for what your dad does." He picks up boxes. He picks up fucking boxes.
It's true, though. It's true.
So, but again, you know, I said, listen, you're going to make a chunk of change for a couple of weeks and you're going to work with me. And I loved it. I absolutely loved working with him. And he even said, I'll do it again next year, Pops.
That's awesome.
So that's
That's
of course,
awesome.
I need to get it in writing because who knows, but I have 3 stories I'll share with you, which is one of them. This kid came right out of preload, which it always boggles my mind. They send you someone with preload. This kid's been working for like 9 hours to begin with. And now he's going to go out on the road with you all day. All he was doing was catching Pokemon. It was when Pokemon Go was like really big.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, what are you doing?
He's just walking the opposite direction away from the truck. Hold on a second.
Yeah, can you circle back around that last? Yeah.
I got to catch Charizard.
Yeah, I got a
Dude, he literally-
Charizard on the loose.
He literally asked you to circle back around where you'd been so he could get a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, he wanted to know if we were going back down that street.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I think it was the post office was like a Poke Stop or
Fuck.
something. Yeah.
Oh my
So that was interesting. I had another kid who was a little too smart for his own britches, and he fought really hard to convince me that when people give me tips, they really wanted them to go to him because they knew that he was making a lot less money than I was. Oh, dude, he was.
I admire the effort.
Yeah, that's good. Where'd you leave?
He was adamant that he should be getting all these tips.
Wow.
100%.
100%.
Wow.
I said, you do realize this is what I do all year round. I said, for the 2 weeks that you're on my truck, sorry, no. I mean, listen, I'll share things with you, but that was bad.
I had Doug always, if we would get like a gift card, Doug would probably, we said disgruntled Doug, but Doug's a good dude. He's disgruntled. He's definitely disgruntled. There ain't no lie about that. But yeah, certain tips, I don't think if you get tipped, that's, man, like you said, you're there year round. It's like Dave's route, man. He was having people, he was just getting tips like a week ago. Well, maybe not a week.
People, I'm getting
couple weeks ago.
Well, that's
just
what
because they're
happens
waiting
though, is
for
they
him.
cut your route. So
Right.
like 3/4 of what you normally do suddenly is not there, and someone else, and you do the route long enough that most of my customers, they know me and they know when I'm not around. So I waited until now. Here's your card.
Right.
So yeah, I've gotten a ton of tips and cards in the last 2 weeks. But I will say, the minute that people found out that my helper was my son, they were giving him extra. We come back to the house the next day, and they would give him. They throw him a 20. They throw him a 10. You know, so it most people. I don't know if you guys got more tips this year. I noticed a lot less people were giving tips, but those that were giving tips were giving more monetarily.
I think it's a New York thing.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'd probably, I know Bobby was mostly commercial, but I didn't really. I mean, I don't. It's but like we've always said, you don't really ever expect anything.
No, not at all.
Right.
Absolutely.
And,
That
I
is
mean,
the one thing. I don't do this job for tips. You know,
I
I'm not a
had people.
doorman.
There was people putting food out,
Actually, we are.
drinks out, and plenty
absolutely.
of stuff.
I appreciate that much
And-
more so. Yeah.
And I had plenty of that, and you had a lot more. It was. I mean, the first, when the pandemic first started, it was kind of weird because there was a lot of people be like, "Whoa, just put it right down there." They'd have a can of lights all ready to spray it off, and I mean, it just it's whatever. But there's definitely been, I would say, there's definitely been a lot more of appreciation for sure than I've ever seen in my time there.
What's funny is that since I started this job, I don't tip my garbage man. I don't tip my postal worker. I never really thought about it, but I have an outdoor refrigerator next to my grill, and I always keep it loaded with water and Gatorade now for everybody. I got a little sign on there. Company Schmedlex.
Yep.
Post office, and they can come and go. They're just free to take stuff. So that's little things like that I think go a long way. And you're right. The little goodie baskets with a bag of chips or popcorn. I appreciate that very much so.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my third, I will just to circle back, Dave.
Yep.
I had this kid for an entire season. His name was Franco. He not only brought a pillow because that seat hurts his hiney. He brought a book one day because apparently he was bored. I caught him taking pictures at a customer's house. And when I called him out on it, he was like, "Oh, look, they took that ice skating boot and they turned it into a planter." I said, "You can't be fucking taking pictures of people's houses." I said, "What are you doing?"
God.
And then there was a time, and this was my old route, which was very rural. He needed to go to the bathroom. Well, guess what? You're out of luck. So he ran into the woods to take a dump and then begged me to double check and make sure he didn't have shit on his ass. And I refused to look at him. I'm like,
"Whoa,
you better double check before you even sit back down on your pillow."
What the fuck?
Dude. How old would you say this guy was?
Easily 24, 25. And he wanted to be a driver. And every time I told him something, he would not do it. And I'm like, "Dude, I'm telling you, go out from the backside of the truck." I said, "What if I was a supervisor?" "Well, when I'm the supervisor, I'll do it." I said, "If you're not doing it for me now, you're not going to do it then."
Yeah.
The minute peak was over, I never saw him again.
Hold on, can we just talk about the ass part real quick?
Dude, you're a 25-year-old
fuck?
man, and you're asking another grown-ass man to check for shit on your ass?
Yeah.
You can't do this job. You can't do this job.
No.
No
You
way.
can't do a lot of fucking jobs.
Yeah,
That's a whole list.
You were limiting yourself.
I
significantly.
mean, that is. I've heard some shit other than
That's
the pig
something.
fucker. Other than the pig fucker, that might be the most
pig
surprising.
Yeah.
That might be the most surprising
That's
thing
something.
I've ever fucking heard of a helper saying ever.
No, I'm not going to check your ass. Sorry, dude.
Oh my God, dude.
And he's wanting to get all the tips.
No, he was the other kid. No, that was not him.
Oh, okay.
So, but-
okay.
Give me.
I still have him in my phone contact.
Yeah, he wanted the tip so he can wipe his ass.
I can't believe. I mean, some of the
Christ,
shit
dude.
that comes out of people's mouths
Or asses.
or asses.
Or asses.
All right, hey, real quick, Jeff. Would you believe that there is a driver out there that has never used a piss bottle or shit outside and now drives a route that has 150 miles on it and says he will never do so?
And never do so. Does he have like some secret bathroom stop?
I don't know, man. I want to believe him so bad, but I just the skepticism is out there.
Does he listen to the
that's-
podcast?
I don't know if he does or not. I think he the XBTBS Clay, he works out of his center. And I know Clay listens. He's well aware. I've said it to him. I'm like, dude, we're probably going to have to end up having, because this is something that nobody's going to believe.
But he took a piss outside, right?
I don't think so. He's always said he uses bathroom, because I said I thank Ernie
Like
for
residential bathrooms?
I don't.
I mean, I've done that
No,
once.
like no. I don't think residential bathrooms. I think it's just like businesses.
All right.
But, like-
Listen, if you got commercial businesses to do your stuff in, then
He said he's showing me pictures of his route now that it looks like
I thought you were
fucking
going
West
somewhere else
Virginia
with
and the sticks, and he's got fucking bison or buffalo roaming the grab. I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to start pissing in bottles now. And he said, no,
Nope,
no, I'm
never.
gonna have like, man, I believe him because I just want to. It's like it's hard for me. It's hard for me to accept it.
He's that unicorn. There you
He
are.
is. He may be
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
unicorn.
that's fine.
There's
That's fine.
his
Listen, if you have that much bladder control, then
Yeah.
so be it.
Right, Jeff? Like his
Right.
like his fucking bladder.
I will say I've
all
shit
day.
outside
Yeah.
more than I'd like to admit, and I've
Right.
peed in a lot of bottles.
Yeah, this
But
is
I'll
the
throw
very
him away.
unglamorous side of this fucking
No,
job.
that's the part that
Yeah.
nobody. They're like, "Well, what do you do?" I'm like,
Right. What do you mean?
Yeah,
What
you
do
have
I do?
to.
What do
You
you
really
think I
wanna know?
I
do?
go.
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Man's got to do what a man's got to do,
shit,
and a woman.
bucket
Christ.
shit.
All right. So let's get up to the question of the week that we
Oh,
had,
okay.
and this was actually posted twice because we ended up missing a week because I had a baby. So
That's right, baby.
Driver release.
the
DR, that
Well
baby.
said.
the art of baby. So the question of the week was, what's the best advice a veteran driver has given you? And we got quite a few, so bear with us here, okay? So let me go through here. All these on Instagram. This one's from Asteria5280. It says, this job is a marathon, not a race. Don't run. I'm sure we've all heard that.
Oh yeah.
And we've all run.
Definitely.
And we've,
That's how we got the jobs.
it's
At
true.
least for your qualifying period.
That's
It's
right. That's right.
It's true. Another one was this one from DMC 2008. Obviously, slow down is a good one, but I think the best piece of advice I got was to use the handbrake, retain control when backing down an icy hill. We all get a little cocky sometimes and gun it up a snowy driveway thinking we can make it. Well, if you don't make it, the handbrake is your best friend.
That's what she
Interesting.
said.
Yep. Another one's from Roland Rogan. Shout out to the Roland Rogans, man. They've been real quick. They've been helping us with some art stuff, graphic designing, logos, all this other stuff that we're gonna be rolling out for everybody, including our Patreon. So
Yeah.
be prepared,
Shout
guys,
out to
because that
Joe
stuff's
and
still
Amy.
going. Yep, Joe and Amy. Roland Rogan said, "You work and then you die." "Quote unquote." That was a wake up call for me to change my life.
Wow.
Well said, Joe.
That is profound.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. This one from Jerica D says, the day goes the way your mood is. That's the advice I give all newbies. And if you have to cry, take 5 minutes and cry, but then no more.
I don't know. I mean, if you guys are in a bad mood, you don't take it out on your customers,
No.
right?
I
mean,
don't.
I actually get accused. People are like, well, "You're always so friendly." I say, even if I'm in a worse mood,
Yes.
why am I for the 20 seconds I'm interacting with you? Why am I going to bring you down?
Some people do that though.
I understand
people
that,
do
but that's
that.
not the way. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
but
the way.
right. It's definitely not the way.
That's not the way.
Stay strong, stay positive. Right?
Right.
And then what do we got here? Next we got
Impossible.
he says
Yeah.
work to live, don't live to work. Good one.
I like that.
Samantha, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Amathese says, thanks, Bobby. I learned that the first time. You were like, yeah, that's Sam. I was like, all right. And I remember now. So Samantha says, slow down. You're not working at a 30-year pace.
Yep.
So, yep. Another slow down. Brown Man in Brown says, fuck a cradle, dyad pouch forever. P.S. He saes, P.S. I work in a center that doesn't have Orion yet. Jealous?
Oh, lucky boy.
What a lucky
cradle,
man.
baby.
Wow.
No cradle.
God, what a fucking. I love that. Good for him. Good for you.
Another one from Ape Sapien.
Ape Sapien. This is my
Sapien.
favorite part of the show, by the way, when Dave
I'm
mentions
I'm trying to fucking butcher people's names. Yeah.
It's
That's because even like Sam, like her name is Samantha, and then what is her screen name?
Amethyst. Amethyst.
What if Dave's dyslexic? And then what the? Well, I guess then he would say Samantha, but still, like what the fuck?
First base.
So Ape Sapien says one stop at a time. Yep. Same thing from T Kingsbury 13. One stop at a time.
One package at a time. That's right.
What do we got here? Shawnold Pump. Shawnold Pump says there is a senior driver at my center. Whenever he feels like he's heavier than those around him, he always says, I don't take it personal. I take it to the credit union. Ching, ching. Another one. We got a bunch of slowdowns. Oh, here's a good one. Ups Womack says, management is not your friend.
Oh, that is
Legendary.
Woo.
legendary.
Woo.
Wait for it.
Do me a favor.
B-Dub 1180 says slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
I like
That's
that.
interesting. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that
I like that
too.
one. Rocky Mountain Rots says it's a marathon, not a sprint. Tell rookies the same thing all the time. Yep. Sir Von Rohr says sort the truck as you go. Don't spend too much time looking for a box. It will show up. It will show up eventually. Maybe.
Sometimes.
Unless your loader sucks.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, dude. There's so many here. RCJ65 Imagery says no one cares about your health and well-being other than you. Don't run. Watch where you step. You'll need your knees, ankles, and back upon retirement. 3 points of contact is no joke. And understand this. A job well done will be rewarded by adding 20 more stops to your route. Work hard, but don't kill yourself in doing so.
fucking true.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone once
that-
told me, right, this is the only company that rewards you for being efficient,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
giving you more work.
Oh, yeah. Another one from Idaho Birder. Don't work through your break. You need that time for you to relax and calm your mind. 20 minutes may not seem like much, but you'll be surprised how much better you feel after a little downtime. It's true.
That is to don't work. Just to add something real quick. I don't think I'd said it on the podcast, but I've told you this, Dave. Maybe you as well, Bobby. That there was somebody that asked me, a newer driver. This would have been 2 peaks ago, right before peak season. That was like, I'm trying to make the numbers. You know, he's in the qualifying thing. He was wanting to take his break and drive home, like on the highway. He was about 26 miles from the building. He was like, should I do that? And I was like, fuck no.
No. So
Then,
that kind of goes with this next one here. This one's from J Hill 352 says one stop at a time, one box at a time. Also take your break in the middle of the day, not at the end. You'll still finish at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's true. And you also, if you take it in the middle of the day, if you're getting slammed, or you could say, some people say dispatch harassment, you take it in the middle of the day, you got pickups, it could throw up the timing. Way
Yeah,
more.
absolutely. I don't take my break until 4:00 because I have 3:30 pickups that are substantially heavy, and I need to get as much shit out of my truck as possible beforehand. So
Yeah. There you go.
you know, and I told management from day one, no, it's not going to happen.
Nope. Another one from Lindsay Ann 808. Lindsay, some people are just assholes. That's true.
I was going to say truer words have never been spoken.
Very fucking true.
That's true. Awesome Delivery Guy says, don't let the load decide when to take your lunch. Don't wonder what's in the package. It just leads to trouble. Keep a spare uniform in your bag. You'll find out why later. Quote, or parentheses, ripped shorts. Remember, your coworkers will be around for years working beside you, no matter if you like them or not. Don't burn bridges if you can't help it. I mean, don't burn bridges if you can help it.
Ooh,
That's
I
a good
like
one. Tiso, what the hell? Sosby? T.S. Osby. Oh, Jesus Christ. Buddy, I'm sorry. This is
Tommy, fucking Tommy.
Is it Tommy?
Tommy.
Tommy.
Hold on, let me click it. It's Tyson. Here we go, Tyson. This one's for you, buddy. This is a company that's actively trying.
This is great.
They're all laughing on screen. And for those of you that aren't watching the YouTube, you know why we're just laughing right now, because they're all cracking up. Tyson says, this is a company that's actively trying to fire you throughout your entire career. So don't let your so dot your I's and cross your T's.
And that is so true.
Oh my
They're just
God.
looking for a reason. Supervisor Rich is out there waiting.
Yeah, no doubt. The Henry Film Co. says this job is more mental than physical. Keep your head on straight. That's a good one too. Jesus Christ, so many. Magic Mike, a wet towel in your lunchbox during the summer months. Throw it over your head while sorting in the back of the truck. Yeah. I actually
Smells
keep
like a tuna fish sandwich though, but
yeah, right. So I actually keep a cooler in my truck for those that have the same package car every day. I actually keep my cooler in my truck. It's its own ice chest. I fill it up with ice every other day, and because the ice stays in there nice and cold. It's Arctic. Shout out to Arctic. Hey, come hit us up. Why don't you come sponsor us, huh? Arctic. Here we go. I got my Arctic cooler, and then so as the ice starts to melt, eventually I throw my rag in there for whatever 10, 15 minutes. Go do a couple stops, pull it out, ice cold. Throw that bad boy right around your neck. Little tip there to keep you guys cool. This one's from Ronnie, 23. I've been told not to get worked up by the job. Me? I say, easier said than done. It takes a lot to calm the anxiety that the job brings. It takes a lot of practice. I usually work out before work and administer meditational breathing throughout the day. Nutrition is also a huge factor.
He's on top of it.
Yeah, he is. This one's from Evglev88. Just do your job correctly and nobody can fuck with you. Ignore the politics. That's true too.
head down.
That is true too. A Gonzo 15 says that you're not really a real driver unless you pulled your truck over and have a good old cry. You're not a real driver unless Okay. Yeah, okay. I got you.
There's a hotline you can call.
1-800 we don't give a shit.
1-800 pickups. Don't pick this fucking truck up.
And you're probably not going to get good service.
That's awesome.
I actually got caught crying. My wife and my daughter, I was on a route near my house, and they came around to check me out, and I was delivering to Barnes and Noble, and it was like 3,000 packages. It was like 100 degrees, and I'm just like, what did I get myself into? And they pull up, and I'm just like, I could feel like the tears like welling down my face. I'm like, this is the worst decision I've ever made in my life.
Jesus Christ!
Somehow I survived.
I think everybody says that.
But somehow that truck empties itself every day.
Yeah. There was nothing more satisfying than an empty truck.
It's true. But then shit fucking fills right back up the next morning.
Well, that's just it. You know, you get your pickups and you're like, oh, yeah.
So, guys, I think that's pretty much all we have.
Wait, I don't get to ask questions?
I was about to say, unless, Jeff, you have some questions for us, feel free.
I do have a couple questions for you.
Go for it, man.
You ready?
We enjoy these.
All right, I got a couple of questions here. I have to kind of stay unique because I've heard some of the other questions that have been brought up, and I'm like, damn it. I was going to ask that. So, have any of you ever been pulled over or pulled the company card to get out of a speeding ticket? Like a personal speeding ticket?
No.
Safety first.
No.
Speed limit.
No.
No.
Well, I got pulled over once in my uniform and still got a ticket.
Did you really?
Yeah.
See, that sucks. See, But
I know the sergeant of the trooper barracks in the area of the trooper that pulled me over. And so, I mean, I got out of it.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
So, I only asked because I was driving my daughter back to school last year. The Taconic, Dave knows the Taconic. It's a big, long, windy road.
Oh, yeah.
And my wife is berating me because I'm not going fast enough. Why don't you go faster? Because it's a 5-hour drive. Mm-hmm. So I stepped on it and immediately got pulled over and was fucking pissed off. And when the cop came and he asked me, he goes, "You got anything in your license?" And I just said, "No, sir. I'm a company driver." I said, "I need to keep a clean license." And I showed him my ID badge. He came back and he says, "All right." He says, "Slow it down." So I got out of the ticket.
Nice.
Because of, I've also gotten discounts at the BJ's warehouse by showing up in my Browns. So
what?
Yeah. Crazy. It's nuts. So, all right. I got two more questions for you.
Go ahead.
Why did you drop the "it's" from the beginning of your title?
Oh, good one.
Very good.
Nice catch though. What did we mention it? I mean, I think I did. I will explain it. So what happened was, one, all in the delivery. It just rolls off the tongue better saying it's all in the delivery. You know, it's all in the delivery is, I feel like it's better when you say just all in the delivery, all in the delivery podcast, not it's all in the delivery podcast. And also, you know, there was like one thing too, like we had a shout out to Brad Mosier, who was on the podcast for like the first 3 episodes. And then, you know, he had some personal shit to take care of. And he was the one that actually came up with the name and all that. So, you know, we were just like, oh, you know, let's, you know, since he's not a part of it anymore, we didn't want to take that on, you know what I mean? Because he was the creator of that name and and all that stuff. So just changing it to all in the delivery just made more sense. And instead of, you know, even social media handles, if you want to even go further, like
I was going to ask you if that was part of it as well.
Yeah, like AITD pod is a lot.
On Spotify too, because that's what I listen to. And on Mondays, I always download the episode in the morning when my alarm goes off.
Yeah.
I download it and I'll always listen to it on Spotify. And a couple times, I don't know if it had to have happened on there too, but something I went to type it in on and I didn't have the apostrophe in it's, and that didn't come up.
Right.
And then when I put the apostrophe in, and I was like, how many fucking people, you know, when they're using their phones or using whatever, using the what? How many people use an apostrophe anymore? So that's a big fucking, you know.
Yeah, and that was another. Just I was about to mention that too, Luke. Is that was another reason why as well, because you go to search for it, if you don't put the apostrophe in on some search engines, it won't show up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Huh. So we cut it's out just to make it all in the delivery. And AITD pod is much more easier to remember.
Yeah.
But go ahead. What?
Yeah. My inner art director kicked in. I thought that the it's made more sense, but I understand. Yeah. One last question for you, gentlemen. And I'm going to dig into my comic book roots a little bit here. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
I feel like we asked this question. Didn't we ask this question to someone?
Did for delivery purposes, right?
We did for delivery purposes. If you could have one superpower to do this job, what would it be? And that was actually a question of the week that we actually asked.
Oh, that would be Nightcrawler.
I'm pretty sure somebody did say that.
You just bamf from one place to the next.
Right. Ah, man, if you got one.
I'm gonna go with Venom suit just because he's my favorite character. just gotta be like, we don't have any more deliveries for you.
So you would just eat your customers.
Yeah, no, he's friendly.
Here's your package.
And then just be out.
Like part of me would think like just. You know, I've always thought like, man, I wish I could be like Magneto, just pick this thing up and float it somewhere so I can get out of track. Like, but I'm saying in life, it's hard. It's hard not to want to say, and I mean, I feel it's kind of lame, but I'd want the adamantium, but I'd probably have to say Wolverine because Wolverine's like, we don't know how old Wolverine is, right? Or do we?
That is true.
Because he gets to, you know.
He doesn't
age. He just, he's got. Like I said, I'd have to have the adamantium. I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to have the bone calls.
Well, that's the only way you're going to deal with those dogs.
Yeah,
right?
Man. I need the adamantium. I'll say Wolverine. I'd love to have. Wolverine.
There you go. Dave, have an answer?
Oh, I don't know, dude. Like that is a tough one. Like Luke just said, it's in life. It's. I mean, if I were to do the job, I feel like I'd want to just fucking fly. You know,
But then again, you could only carry so much.
But then
again,
you can only carry so much, right?
It's like when people are like, "Aren't you afraid that these drones are going to replace you?" I said, "Listen, the minute they can pick up a 50-pound box of dog food, then I'll be concerned."
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, I don't know. That's a good question.
All right, well, you can ponder it, I guess.
I will ponder it. But I don't know. I mean, I always thought flying would be fucking awesome. You know, like you see people with these jetpacks now and stuff like that. Like that shit's sick, dude. Yeah. And they're just flying over top fucking waters, flying past boats and shit. I'm like, this is sick.
I think the Jetsons sold us a solid bill of goods here.
Yeah,
we should all have flying cars by now.
Right.
Right.
Back to the Future fucked us all over. Anyways.
You're the man,
guys.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, right. So,
Marty.
Jeff, where can they find you? What's the podcast handle and your Instagram handle?
My personal, I'll just send everybody right to Instagram.
Yep.
I got 2 different accounts. My personal Instagram account is Art Gecko Studios, which is Gecko the Little Lizard. And then the podcast is TMI_podcast 2018. And Dave actually branded that because I don't think he thought we were going to last past 2018. So, and yet here we are, 2021, still going strong. So,
163 episodes in. Fuck.
163. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Awesome.
Jeff, thank you for coming on. And also, don't hang up yet. Wait till we're say goodbye off air. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And like we said, too, want to thank our Patreon subscribers for just supporting the podcast. And if you want to become a Patreon subscriber and support, go to patreon.com/AITD pod. And you guys can go check out all the different tiers that we have there. So thank you guys again. We'll see you next week.
Strong, stay positive.